Call the meeting to order. Regular Town Council meeting of the Winslow Town Council, Monday, August 12th, 2024.
Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mike Joseph.
Here.
Dale Macklin. Sorry, Dale.
Here.
Fran Hudson. Here. Ray Karen.
Here.
Adam Lint.
Here.
Lee Trahan.
Here.
And Jeff West.
Here.
Perfect. Any disclosures of conflict this evening? None?
I don't believe so.
Disclosures. Okay, approval of minutes from the previous meeting from July 8th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Being none?
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Fran Hudson.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Adam Lint.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
And Mike Joseph.
Yes.
Motion to approve minutes of July 8th, 2024 passes 7-0. Under communications, the Finance Committee, last meeting, we had a discussion to add 2 counselors as alternates, Jeff West and Adam.
So moved.
Second? Yeah, whatever.
Any discussion?
Okay, a motion to add Jeff West and Adam Lint to the Finance Committee as alternates, Dale and Ray. Fran Hudson.
We're voting. Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Adam Lint.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Jeff West.
I guess.
And Mike Joseph.
Yes.
And Dale Macklin.
Yes.
So motion to add Jeff West and Adam Lint to the Finance Committee as alternates passes 7-0. We have a letter of appreciation. Is that, sorry.
I'm not sure if everybody knows me, but I'm sure you do. I'm Judy Matthew, your property tax assessor, 14 and a half years now. I guess I've been selected to do the letter of appreciation tonight because I'm the grayest, and that's perfectly fine. But we wanted to, as employees of the town of Winslow, recognize our town manager, Ella Bowman. Quite honestly, it's a pleasure to literally walk through those doors and feel like you're being appreciated. And that goes a long way for us as far as the way we feel when we work every day to provide the best service that we can. So she's always patting us on the back for every little thing that we ever do. And again, it is her position to allow us to do our job to the best that we can, and we do. We feel that we do. So we would like to read this in appreciation of Ella Bowman. The employees of the town of Winslow, Maine stand united in appreciation and recognition for this period job that Ella Bowman has accomplished since she became town manager in October of '23. It has become noticeably clear that Ella's previous years of experience in municipal government and her compassion towards all employees has become a much-needed addition to our work environment. The employees have become more positive and all departments more unified, creating a better work environment resulting in better service for the town of Winslow's taxpayers and citizens. Her time and dedication to the town budget process, her exemplary work performance, her open door policy, huge in my book, and her undivided appreciation of all Winslow employees has demonstrated to us that she has our utmost support in her abilities to perform her duty as the Winslow town manager. This confirms our appreciation and our faith that Ella Bowman is the best person who can move our town in the right direction and be a strong leader for all employees to follow. Given under our hand on August 12th, 2024, in recognition of Ella Bowman.
On to reports of committees and commissions, the town manager's report.
Thank you, Audra. That was very kind of my staff, and I really appreciate the support. We've got probably one of the better teams that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. And I can tell you, as Winslow residents, you guys are blessed. Members of the council and citizens of Winslow, sorry. I met with the Bangor Savings Bank to set up a redundant path forward for additional financing for the Chafee Brook Phase 2 project if needed. As we know, we're a little bit short on funding. We think that we have that covered, but I wanted to make sure that we had something in place just in case something fell through. So I have got some quotes from them, and I think that without question, we're not going to have a problem. Paul and I met with Senator LaFountain with the goal of speeding up the DEP permitting process for Chafee Brook. That's run into some snags, and we had to get a little bit more horsepower behind it. He's a sitting senator, and he helped us out, I think, quite a bit to make that happen. I attended Mid-Main Chamber's business lunch in support of the owner of Standing Waterproofing for Winslow. What a great success story that place is. She's doing an incredible job up there. I attended the Central Maine Growth Council board meeting to bring them up to speed with Winslow. This was my first time attending a meeting since working in Winslow. I just haven't had time to get out there and meet with these guys. And as it was, I only spent a half an hour with them because we had a construction meeting shortly after that. I attended the stage committee to bring them up to speed and up to date. I attended the Maine Historic Grant Zoom meeting while I was on vacation to prepare for the 1806 schoolhouse grant. We have hired an architect to help design the roof line on that, so that's moving forward. Lately, as all winter long, my job continues to be about grant management. We have some sizable grants, and that has taken a huge amount of time. I just want to mention the political climate in Winslow continues to be highly charged. Unfortunately, my employees and myself are feeling the stress and pressure of this environment that's being created. We've really got to start working together and start pulling this together somehow. That's all I have.
Are there any other department heads that want to go through their report?
Hi, I'm Judy Matthew, your friendly tax assessor. Sorry. My monthly report for the past 14 and a half years hopefully provided some information, transparency, honestly. And I am happy to say that we have a $15 tax rate this year. We were able to get enough new taxable value and growth between two solar panel farms, the big farms, and I actually increased the CMP transmission and distribution lines. One of the things that I realized when the reval was done, that some of the commercial and some of the industrial weren't tweaked, so to speak, as much as I felt that they should have been, and that's why the residential properties got such a shift in the property tax burden, and it was unfortunate. Things should have been done over the years, and they weren't. So with the new growth in the taxable value, the budget process that you all have worked very hard on, we are able to keep the tax rate at $15 per thousand, same as last year. It'll be a 6% interest rate. However, you did also pass the 2-week grace period before taxes accrue on the taxes. It used to be the day after they're due, and now there's about a 2-week interval before the interest accrues. If anybody has any information or any questions at all, please feel free to call me or stop by. The information will be posted to the website as soon as we can get it processed, and tax bills should be in the mail, I would say, within about 2 weeks. So, thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Nice work.
Anyone else, Paul?
Just one question, Paul. Just if you, I don't know if Ella's going to make you get up there or not, but if you would.
Yes, if everyone can work at speaking in the microphone because it is hard to hear,
Yeah.
me included.
Yes, sir.
I know we've talked about this so many times, but the Cushman Road, when is the final paving gonna do for the Cushman?
Cushman Road, right now, the contractor is waiting for their curbing, subcontractor come in, do all the curbing.
Okay,
Tentatively scheduled for this Wednesday. I'll believe it when I see it,
Yeah.
because these guys are all out straight right now. It's the time of the year where everybody's looking for curbing and everything else, you know. We could have had them anytime, probably in May, but nothing was ready.
that's okay, that's fine.
But that's the, right now, they're waiting for curbing, then they're gonna be able to set back, fix all the lawns up, and then do final paving.
Okay,
So-
sounds good,
Optimistically done by September,
okay.
but right now it's out of their hands, basically.
Does it look like Joe Avenue or any that I know we just got the grant for that. Is there any, what's the timetable for that, for Joe Avenue?
Right now, we are doing the final engineering. I know we had a message from our
Okay.
engineer today talking about some of the drainage, but with the funding we have, I'm optimistic we can go out to bids. I'm not gonna say early this fall, but hopefully this winter to get it for spring.
And then for spring, okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you
That'll
very
be
much.
about half of it.
Paul, the paving on the Cushman Road,
Yes,
that's not gonna be final until the state comes in a couple of years, is it? State's not
correct. I
coming
mean,
in
we're,
this year,
we're
but-
paving everything that we disturbed. We will not be
Yes.
paving the whole road, and I've been talking to DOT. They're talking about putting it on the work plan. That's as far as I've gotten. Nothing's committed. They're always a couple, 2 to 3 years out on their plans. The only commitment we can make is there's no digging left. We've done everything, so hopefully they feel confident in paving it. And whether it's gonna happen 25, 26, I don't know. I'll keep checking on it. They are at least talking about it. That's a good step. When they don't talk about it, you know nothing's gonna happen, so.
Right.
I squeak pretty hard sometimes when I talk to those guys, so.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
I've learned squeaky wheel gets something. What's that?
Do I have a motion to approve the reports?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Adam Lint.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Mike Joseph.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes,
And Fran Hudson.
Yes.
Motion to pass, approve all reports as written, passes 7-0. Okay. On to tabled business, ordinance number 8-2024. The town of Winslow to approve an ordinance for signs on town-owned property.
well, keep that table, Jeff. An issue has come up on some school signs and stuff again, so we're looking into the wording of that specific thing for what they're calling sponsorship signs, to pass the state thing. So I'd suggest that be tabled, Jeff?
Anybody else have
I
anything
guess
on
I'll
that?
second it just for discussion purposes.
Okay. We get a first and a second to keep it tabled. Any discussion?
So a motion to keep ordinance number 8-2024 tabled.
Well, actually, we shouldn't have,
Right.
we shouldn't, there wasn't an actual motion.
It's tabled.
It's
It's
tabled
tabled.
until somebody moves to take it off, so.
Okay. So you don't need a roll call vote for that, right? Okay, old business, order number 10-2024, authorization for the town manager to sign the 3-year contract with the International, I don't remember what it's called, Fire Department, IAFF, number 5479, representing the fire department personnel.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Thank you, Eller, and the firefighters that all made that happen.
They did a great job.
Okay, Lee Trahan,
Yes.
Jeff West,
Yes.
Mike Joseph,
Yes.
Dale Macklin,
Yes?
Fran Hudson.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
And Adam Lint.
Yes.
So motion to pass to authorize the town manager to sign the 3-year contract with IAFF number 5479, representing the fire department personnel, passes 7-0. Order number 12-2024, authorization for the town manager to sign the attached dispatch and public safety answering point service agreement with the town of Winslow for a one-year term. Sorry, town of City of Waterville. It's been a long day. I worked in the front office all day. My brain is a little scrambled.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Not like we have a choice. Roll call, please.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Mike Joseph.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Fran Hudson.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Adam Lint.
Yes.
And Lee Trahan.
Yes.
So motion passes 7-0. Okay. Order number 13-2024, issuance of up to $6 million of the town's general obligation bond to finance sewer system, CSO, and stormwater management improvements and upgrades with respect to the Sunset Heights development and additional costs for upgrades to the Chaffee Brook Pump Station.
This
So
is
moved.
Okay, good, thank you.
Second.
Discussion? Hello?
I was just going to say that the application process, I'm almost done with that. That has to be in by September 30th, and I'll probably have it in by the end of this month.
Ella, could you just go over, I know we're getting 6 million, but how much we're chipping in and how much other entities are chipping in?
Right, so this is a loan, this is a bond, and we've got a $3 million EPA grant that is going to cost us about $750,000. So it's going to be $3.75 million, $750,000 of our money, and then the $6 million, and that's going to help us complete phase 1 of Sunset Heights, which
Okay.
is estimated to be between $14 and $16 million.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Being none, roll call, please.
So, motion for the issuance of up to $6 million for the town's general obligation bond to finance sewer system, CSO, and stormwater management improvements and upgrades with respect to the Sunset Heights development and additional costs for upgrades to the Chaffee Brook Pump Station. Mike Joseph?
Yes.
Dale Macklin?
Yes.
Fran Hudson?
Yes.
Ray Karen?
Yes.
Adam Lint?
Yes.
Lee Trahan?
Yes.
And Jeff West?
Yes.
The motion passes 7-0.
Okay. Do we need a public hearing on it?
We're having a public hearing on both of them together. We should advertise.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we needed to have it on both.
On to new business.
Okay.
Ordinance number 9-2024 to, sorry, we're doing, oh yeah, number 9, 2024, to repeal the amendments to section 300-91, which added the definition of event venue, and section 300-47, chapter 3 of the town code, which added the conditional use of event venue in the rural zone. That was adopted February 26th of 2024 by ordinance number 3-2024. And there is a public hearing on this one and the next one.
So moved.
Second.
All
Okay,
right, was there, who second?
Second.
Lee.
Thank
Lee
you.
did.
At this point, we will have a public hearing. So anybody that has anything to say about the repeal of the amendment may do so at this time.
I'm just a little confused. Louis Bourgeois, 238 Abbott Road. I'm a little confused. Is it passed or isn't it passed?
You want to take that, Bill?
Okay, sure. It was passed by the council quite some time ago. Subsequent to its passage, it was discovered that inadequate notice was published, therefore calling into question the legality of it. It was not brought up immediately because there was then another proposal dealing with the same subject, and we wanted to wait to see what position was likely to come out of that. And once we got the recommendation from the planning board on the ordinance number 4-2024, both of these were brought together. So if the council votes to repeal what was adopted previously, then, of course, it has to have two readings. It eventually would nullify it, and then the next matter that comes before you is almost the same thing, just I think the word venue switched with center, I think is was. And so the council will have a preliminary vote, a first vote on both of these tonight. And that is confusing, but we did not want to bring it up alone until we had some idea what the planning board was going to recommend essentially on the same subject. And the planning board has given that recommendation. But what was passed a number of months ago, in all likelihood was not legal because we gave insufficient notice, but it was not discovered until quite some time after it was passed.
Thank you.
Through the
Anyone?
chair. So does that mean that we're repealing it? It's like it was never there, and we have to re-vote to allow it or not allow it again?
Yes,
Okay.
in essence, yes.
Anyone else?
Hello again. I'm a little bit confused on if.
Can I get your name and
Oh,
address,
sorry, Cheryl Leonard, 353 Abbott Road, sorry about that. And what I can't tell is if we have a comment, if we make it now in regards to why we want it repealed, or if it's the next agenda item.
Do you want ordinance number 3-2024, which is the standing ordinance, repealed?
Okay, so, yes, I would like to talk then, so, thank you. I have spoken a few times to the town council, and I appreciate your time and patience with us in regards to this. It's one of these things that we're like, do you want to hear from us one more time? And not really knowing what that answer is, but I just want to take the time to make sure I'm addressing, this one more time, because it is so important. For us in the rural district, this is something that's going to not just impact the Abbott Road. I think that, to be honest, there's been a lot of focus on that it's the Abbott Road people who have an issue with this. But I really feel very strongly that this is going to, as we know, impact the whole rural district. If this passes, anybody who lives in the rural district, there could be the opportunity for an event venue or event center to come in your neighborhood. And a big part of this is why we either move to the rural district or why we choose to stay in the rural district is what the expectations of the rural district are, which are really clearly outlined. The planning board really emphasized that. I don't think I need to re-emphasize it. I think everybody's very aware with what the focus is on the rural planning board. But to bring it really back home again, I had lived in another community, and it was interesting. We made the decision to have a house built in a development. And we were the first house to go into this development. And this was probably about 18, 20 years ago. And it just teaches how in life you really learn. We were the first ones to go in. We had 4 acres. And we'd had horses, but we had boarded them. And we thought we could move into this development and bring horses into it. And, we bought our land and we saw the rules associated with it saying there's no farm animals that were allowed in there. But we just really thought that would be allowed to be changed. So we moved in and we got to a point where we could bring those horses to our land. We had 4 acres, thinking that's more than enough. But the rules of the development clearly said no farm animals. So I went to the developer and I said, we were the first ones in, and now there were 4 total homes in this development that now has about 20 homes. I'm like, we have 4 acres. Isn't it okay if we bring, our horses and use up an acre of our land? And of course he, pulled out our deed and it said no farm animals. And I said, well, could this get changed? And he said, well, you start with talking to your other 4 neighbors, asking them what they think. And then if they respond positively, you can go before the planning board. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, who doesn't love horses? Why wouldn't they want this? So I did go to the 4 neighbors in my neighborhood. It was an eye-opener, and I appreciate it. They were very kind to me, but I went to my 4 neighbors. I spoke to them and said, hey, I've got 4 acres. I just want to use an acre and put my 2 really cute horses. You'll come home, and, you know, they'd just be all lovely. And all 4 of those neighbors stopped me and said, you know, thanks for coming to talk to me, but no, they did not want it. They moved into that development, and part of the reason they moved is they knew clearly that no farm animals were allowed. And it was an eye-opener for me. And it was, you know what, you're right. They moved there for that reason. And that my point is, I moved to the rural district after we found out no horses. I'm like, we took over 10 years to find a property where we could move to, we could have our farm animals, and I could live in a rural district and what the rural district brings. And we were very aware of what it was in Winslow. I bought this property 5 years ago. And it's not just the Abbott Road that this will impact, because it has been said kindly over and over to us is we can pass it, and then maybe in another area in the rural district it'll be okay. But it goes against the definition of what the town of Winslow has said the rural district is. And you saw it with the planning board really emphasizing it, and it will impact us. So I'm asking you to please repeal this. I think there's a lot more knowledge in regards to this than there was at the beginning. And there's people who've come forward, and we're not, and please keep in mind, this is not just the Abbott Road. It will impact the whole rural district. Thank you.
Anyone else? Being none, we'll close this public hearing.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Just one question, Bill. If we don't repeal this and it's still illegal, we got no choice but to repeal it, do we?
Correct.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Audra, roll call, please.
Okay, this is to repeal the amendment to 391, which added the definition of event venue, and 300-47, Chapter 3 of the Town Code, which added the conditional uses of event venue in the rural zone that was adopted February 26, 2024 by ordinance number 3-2024. Dale Macklin,
Yes.
Fran Hudson,
Yes.
Ray Karen,
Yes.
Adam Lint,
Yes.
Lee Trahan,
Yes.
Jeff West,
Yes.
and Mike Joseph.
Yes.
So motion to repeal ordinance number 3-2024 passes 7-0. Ordinance number 4-2024, providing for an amendment to 300-91, definitions to the town code, to add the definition of event venue, and 300-47, Chapter 3 of the town code, to add the conditional uses event venue by adding the underlined text per the attached copy. This again is a public hearing, and I do have a statement from a resident that was unable to make it tonight.
Go ahead.
This is from Heather Thorne on Abbott Road. I really wished I wasn't writing another letter about this event venue agenda item, even though I thought it was now changed to event center. On May 28th, the joint public hearing was a public hearing about adding event center. This was a whole discussion on venue versus center, and it was agreed to now call it center. There is also what the planning board recommended not ought to pass on June 19th meeting. There was also a discussion item on the July 8th meeting about event center. Now that it's a public hearing, it is back to event venue. A few people may have known back in October of 2023, this was added to the rural district without many people's knowledge, specifically residents that were going to be directly affected by a new business. That is no longer moving forward. The question is, why are we still moving forward with event venue as a whole in the district? This entire process goes to show that this is not something the town can take on at this time. This agenda item has taken away valuable time from employees, council members, planning board members, residents, and everyone else involved, not to mention tax dollars. I have gone through the code before about what needs to happen when a public hearing happening regarding zoning. One being that is needed to be published in a newspaper of general circulation 2 times, no more than 30 days, but at least 7 days prior to a public hearing. I was told that the town line was no longer to be used for these notices. The prior agenda item about the repeal was online on the town line website, but there was nothing about this public hearing regarding the event venue again. It is also not on the main notice website, which is the site that the Sentinel uses for public notice. With that being said, this again has not followed the town's own protocol and process. To move forward with this, vote for or against it would be illegal. On Tuesday the 6th, the agenda posted to social media did not state that the 2 event venue items were public hearings. That is the post I saw. I happened to see it again and saw that the order was changed. The public hearing was added to the agenda item 2 days later. On the ordinance form, if you took a look at the blank ordinance 4-2024 form to be filled in after each vote, it states, whereas the planning board voted to recommend the event venue should be added to the conditional uses in the rural district. They actually voted recommending it not to pass, and they voted on event center, not venue, per the June 19th planning board meeting and Gary Owen's letter. This has become such a mess, and I don't blame the town employees for being confused about this. To them, this is another agenda item that I'm sure they are annoyed to be seeing week after week, month after month for almost a year. To me, this directly and personally affects me, my family, my neighbors, my personal investments, and so much more. As such, I want this to be over with. If I don't speak now, I will run the risk of this passing. I have fought too hard and too long to stop now. I don't want another Winslow resident to have to go through what my neighbors and I have gone through.
Anyone else?
Hillary Lambrecht, 283 Abbott Road. Sorry, you're going to hear from another Abbott Road resident. For 26 years, my husband and I have lived and raised our kids in Winslow's rural district in an environment with a low population density, low traffic, low noise, lots of wide open space, ability to farm food and animals. We've been able to live a peaceful life. I'm trying to reconcile this way of rural living with the addition of an event venue, event center, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to read the description of the rural district taken directly from the 2023 Winslow Comprehensive Plan, which I will remind everyone was unanimously approved by the Town Council at the last Town Council meeting. Page 91, I quote, "The goal of the rural district is to preserve and encourage existing open space, agriculture, forestry, and other resource-based activities, while at the same time allowing very low-density residential and some limited commercial development. All non-agricultural development in this district is designed to grow at a slow pace and in such a manner that traditional rural character is maintained for future generations. Proposed development that could create negative traffic impacts, environmental damage, loss of farmland, increased traffic, suburban land uses, and loss of rural character shall not be permitted in this district." After reading this description, I challenge all council members to explain how an event venue, event center, whatever, might fit within this description. You can put stipulations on an event venue permit, such as it must be on a minimum lot size or so many feet from a property line, but making those stipulations does not make it fit within the description of the rural district I just read to you. No matter where you put it in the rural district, it will negatively affect rural land. An event center will never preserve and encourage existing open space and agriculture. It will never be a resource-based activity. It will never maintain the rural character for future generations. An event center will always create negative traffic impacts. Think of both increased traffic as well as potential for impaired drivers on Winslow's narrow and winding back roads. It will always cause environmental damage. It will always cause the loss of farmland. It will always cause the loss of the quiet rural character we have today. And once you lose that, you will not get it back. We have 2 grown children. We want them to be able to set roots and raise a family in Winslow's rural district just like we were able to do for them. We want to preserve what we have now for future generations. I ask you to please vote against the ordinance allowing event venues or centers in the rural district. Thank you.
Good evening and thank you. My name is Bruce Lambrick, 283 Abbott Road. I do have a question. I don't understand how an event center venue can be added under conditional use when the town's own ordinances that was passed unanimously contradicts it in every possible way. I did do some little bit of research, and it says loud music travels up to 4 miles. So if you built an event center in the middle of an 8 square mile block, which is roughly 5,100 acres, then maybe you'd have an argument. And I'm pretty sure there's nobody in this world that says, oh boy, I live near an event center, okay? It just doesn't fit in the rural district. Again, thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
Anyone else?
My name is Gwen Jakes. I'm at 355 Abbott Road. I will not echo my neighbors, although I do agree with them. The reason we live in a zoned town in the rural zone is to maintain rural living. But while I was trying to better understand what your view or another neighbor or somebody in town may have regarding event center or event venue, I decided to look at the revenue. I think that we heard a lot, well, this could generate revenue, this could generate revenue. So I needed to be acquainted with what revenue could be generated. That would be personal property tax and the property tax itself. So if these are rural residents adding a venue to their home, this is not new revenue. If these are businesses renting tents, this is not new revenue. I contacted Judy and asked, okay, well, what if people are putting up, what could cause revenue that would benefit the town? If they put up a $100,000 barn, this would add $1,500 of revenue. And at the risk of devaluing neighbors and other regions or surrounding homes because of an event venue, I don't know that this brings any revenue to our town. I would never have bought my home next to an event venue, nor would I buy a future home next to an event venue. And I think that we can also learn from our neighboring town, China, who went through this for quite a while and ultimately ended up not approving a wedding venue, or event venue, I should say. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Through the chair, if I could.
Yeah.
If we make if we don't make a motion to, because you haven't made a motion yet to bring it off, to accept it. So if we don't make a motion, and we don't get a second, then the ordinance dies, is that correct?
Yes,
So,
but I would suggest to be perfectly clear that you actually take a vote.
okay.
So that
And take a
otherwise,
vote
people
to
will
do
have
what?
questions.
And
Whether
take
we
a
are-
vote for what?
Whether we approve or not
Okay,
approve
that's
the
what I
event
was-
center.
So, okay, I'll make a motion,
We gotta close the public hearing first.
Okay, sorry.
With that being said, we'll close the public hearing. Okay, Ray, go ahead.
Okay. I make a motion to bring up the, whatever it is, what number it is.
There's a motion to, mean a motion to adopt?
Yep,
That's-
motion to, yes, a motion to adopt.
A second.
So a motion to adopt an amendment to 300-91 definition to the town code to add the definition of event venue and 300-47 chapter 3 of the town code to add the conditional uses of event venue by adding the underlined text per the attached copy. Fran Hudson.
Hold on,
Oh,
discussion.
discussion, sorry.
The only thing I will say is the planning board has sent the letter to us saying ought not to pass. So keep that in mind for everybody here.
Through the chair, I think they had a very good point as well. The comprehensive plan says not to do it as well, so if, and I wanted to commend all the people that came out to speak. It's nice to have that involvement from the community. I think the planning board unanimously saying no, and the comprehensive plan, we all agreed to, that is in, like they said, against this. That's all I have to say. You have to think of that.
Anybody else?
I just think we've heard time and time again, and I echo most of what Fran said, and I just think it's not the place for it, so.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, the problem I have with this is not so much whether it's allowed or not, is can anybody tell me what the description or definition of event venue is? Who knows?
No, there is a definition.
There is a definition where?
Should be in what, to add the underlined language, you should have that in your agenda.
An event venue is a public or privately owned structure or area used for the purposes of public performances, special occasions, and holding events.
Okay, yeah.
Per section 300-91.
I could understand why people were upset about the first application for an event center in that density on the rural zone. My position basically is that there may be other locations in that rural zone or an event center may be good, where there are no neighbors. In certain areas of that, there are no neighbors for quite a distance away. And to say no to the whole rural district, I don't agree with that. I think there are certain areas within that rural zone where event centers could function and function properly.
Through the chair. My experience has been an event center doesn't work anywhere. You know, out in my past town, we had one up on Huzzy Hill Road, and it was nothing but an issue for us. Every time the music was loud, the police got called, and they have a commitment to do their job. This is going to be nothing but a headache for us. If people are buying property in the rural zone for the peace and tranquility, then we need to stay away from this. There's nothing in this that really will make a difference in the town of Winslow. That's my opinion.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Fran Hudson.
Say
Oh,
no.
do you want me to read it again? So this is an
Yeah.
amendment to 391, definition to the town code to add the definition of event venue, and 300-47C, chapter 3 of the town code to add the conditional uses event venue by adding the underlined text per the attached copy.
No.
Ray Karen.
No.
Adam Lint.
No.
Lee Trahan.
No.
Jeff West.
No.
Mike Joseph.
No.
And Dale Macklin.
Yes?
So the motion fails 6-1. Okay. Order number 14-2024. The town manager is authorized to allocate $751,000 for the acquisition of a 2025 Freightliner tanker pumper truck from Audiotronic LLC. A deposit of $250 will be covered by the fire truck capital account, with the balance to be financed.
So moved.
Second.
Would you,
Management supports purchasing this new fire truck. I've changed my position. Due to the due diligence that was done by Deputy Chief Mike Murphy, finding out what the cost of repair of this old truck, it makes no sense whatsoever for us to put an $150,000 pump on this vehicle when the interest would be less than that to buy it. My recommendation for the council is to take $250,000 out of the fund equity for the deposit. That'll leave us a balance of $501,000. We have $129,000 in an account right now for it. Allocate $150,000 a year for the next 2 years. The truck is going to take approximately 2 years to deliver. That'll leave us shy of $70,000. At that point in time, we take that $70,000 out of the fund equity, and we pay the truck and we pay for cash. We have a balance right now of $6.3 million in our fund equity. So we are financially capable of doing that. And and as far as financing the truck, we talked about using a municipal lease purchase deal. Hold off on it. Interest rates are 6.5% right now. They're bound to go down in a couple of years. And if we do decide that we're going to finance it at that time in time, then we'll have a lower rate.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, please. We also have one of the other trucks that's going to be coming due on its last payment, correct?
Right.
Which is what, 138,000?
Right. And we can put
That would more
money
than
into it.
cover that.
Either way, we're going to be able to pay cash for this.
Right. I get-
And the
that's my
2-year
whole
lag
point.
time is the saving grace for us.
Right.
And I have Director McDade to speak to that.
Just what, could you just go over the figures again? Because I just.
The truck will cost us $751,000.
Yep, I get that, yep.
They're requiring us to put a $250,000 deposit on that, which we'll do ASAP.
Yep.
As long as we get approval. That'll bring the balance due on that truck at $501,000. We currently have $129,000 set aside in the fund for the vehicle.
Yep.
Next year and the year after, I will budget $150,000 for that truck. That's a total of $429,000. That leaves us approximately $72,000 to come up with to pay off the balance of the vehicle. In which case, at that time, we'll take that $72,000 out of fund equity and we'll save ourselves the $148,000 in interest.
And I'm sorry to ask, I'm sure, but where's the 250, the initial down payment coming
The
from?
250, I'm recommending that we take it out of fund equity. We have a balance of $6.375 million in that account.
I understood, didn't we have 250 in the budget?
No, we have 129. We had $134,000, but that's for the remaining lease on the truck that we have right now.
Through the chair. Now, this is a lease to own, correct?
No, we're going to avoid that. We're going to pay cash for this thing.
Okay.
I don't want to, the first thing I said when I came into these meetings is we're in debt up to our ears and we got to start working. This is a plan to pay for this truck and pay cash for it.
Okay.
And we should also have some money coming back when we sell the other truck.
Can I ask a question? How long, if you fix the truck, how long is it gonna be good?
Well, that's hard saying. It's a 28-year-old truck. I mean, somebody's going to buy that truck and they're going to run it probably for years. But the bottom line is it's 28 years old. And if the pump is going to cost us $150,000 to replace, what's next on it? You know,
I don't know, I don't replace my cars with my tires.
I get it. I support the fire department on this purchase, and because we can do it without increasing our costs.
If I might, through the chair, one of the benefits of this particular truck is that it can be used as an attack truck. The tanker we have now, at least in the past, if I'm wrong, please let me know, is not an ideal attack truck. So when the attack truck pumper tanker is gone, then this truck, in my opinion, from past council meetings, isn't adequate enough to meet the attack truck if the attack truck is deficient. So for me, it's not just about getting a new pumper, but it's also about redundancy within the department so that we can be sure that when we answer a fire call, if one of the tanker pumpers is out, that we have an adequate backup. that serves the town, and we don't have to rely on mutual aid for that purpose.
Everything's expensive, Louis. Yeah, everything's expensive. You know, it's a 28-year-old vehicle, and, yeah.
I don't think we do.
We're gonna save $148,000 in interest if we financed it at today's rate, which is about 6.5%. So the option that we have is to finance it now and start paying on it, or to hold off and wait until the truck comes. And by that time, if we take that route, I can pay cash for it.
I will add that at that point in time, if we take $250 out of fund equity, we have now, out of this year, raised the fund equity, out of fund equity to $1.2 million. It's just something to think about, whether we can replace that, you know, I'm just,
Yeah, but right.
I understand.
At the budget time, we had just over 5 million. We're up to 6.3 million right now.
Yeah.
So we've replaced the $950,000
I
that.
agree, I'm just bringing that up as a point, because I always bring that up as we.
Can we get a motion to open this?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second? Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Now, can we have
Hold
some
on,
discussion?
I thought I had Ray and Adam. Did they?
Yeah, I thought we had.
Did we open it already?
Yeah.
Bill and I couldn't remember. Too much conversation going on.
Don't
Okay, never mind then. Continue the discussion then.
I wouldn't have discussed it if it wasn't ready to be discussed.
Okay.
Anybody else? Being none, could we get a roll call, please?
So I do want to make sure, so I have on this order that the deposit is going to come from the fire truck capital account, not,
No, the deposit's gonna come from fund equity.
and then I also have that the balance will be financed.
No. We're gonna make that determination when the truck is ready to be delivered. The goal is to avoid financing altogether and pay for this thing.
Through the chair, Ella, you can still get the price that the lowest price we were
We make that
quoted.
decision today, the price is locked in at $751,000.
You need to amend.
So is the old truck worth
Yeah.
more money fixed? Or just leave it the way it is?
I've heard rumors of that truck being able to bring $90,000 in, and I'll believe it when I see it.
Audra, we got to amend this. So we need a motion to amend.
Can I add to the discussion first, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
You went through the numbers quick for me, Ella, but if I get this right, the $250 deposit is out of the fund balance that we have right now as a result of our fund balance being up there. The $129 we have in the budget under the capital expense, that's in the budget right now.
We're gonna keep that money right where it is until we buy this thing.
Yes. The $150 and the $150 to put into the budget over the next 2 years, we already budget that.
Say that again?
We already budget that in the budget.
It's not really gonna impact us. You're absolutely correct.
That's we already budget that every
Right,
year.
right.
Oh, I think it might have been 134 this past year.
134, but that's peanuts.
But those 250 payments are in the budget basically right now.
Yep.
And have been for the last couple of years.
Right, right.
As long as that capital expense account.
Right. Right.
As
And the
well
fund
as we're going
balance
to be
is
getting
in.
rid of one payment as well in that.
So the only thing we're not adding anything to the budget that's going to affect the budget at all out of this scenario.
No.
That's right.
Yeah.
It took us a while to figure out how to make this thing work, but we figured it out.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to amend.
You make the motion yourself, Jeff.
Well, I was giving somebody else a chance first. Okay, I make a motion to amend to what Audra's been writing down over here.
Okay, so this is what I got. The town manager is authorized to allocate $751,000 for the acquisition of a 2025 Freightliner tanker pumper truck from Audiotronics LLC. A deposit of $250,000 will be covered by fund equity account, with the balance to be determined at delivery of truck.
I second.
Good job. Okay. So we have a first and a second.
Any discussion on that? Very good. Ray Karen,
Yes.
Adam Lint,
Yes.
Lee Trahan,
Yes.
Jeff West,
Yes.
Mike Joseph,
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
And Fran Hudson.
Yes.
So motion to amend passes 7-0.
I want to personally thank Deputy Chief Mike Murphy for his hard work on this. This has been a project, he's been working on this for over a year. We finally came to a resolution. We started with a $1.4 million vehicle, and we're down to $751,000. That was a huge win for the taxpayers. Thank you, Council.
And then do I need a roll call vote to approve as amended?
Yes.
So to approve, the town manager is authorized to allocate $751,000 for the acquisition of a 2025 Freightliner tanker pumper truck from Audiotronics LLC. A deposit of $250,000 will be covered by the fund equity account, with the balance to be determined at delivery of the truck. Ray Karen,
Yes.
Adam Lint,
Yes.
Lee Trahan,
Yes.
Jeff West,
Yes.
Mike Joseph.
Yes.
Dale Macklin,
Yes.
and Fran Hudson.
Yes.
So motion to pass as amended passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Al, it's probably a need to waive the second reading so that this can get done.
I would
Put a
absolutely
motion.
recommend that. Thank you, Dale. Yes.
I'll make a motion to waive the second reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Being none?
Okay, motion to waive second reading on order number 14-2024. Ray Karen,
Yes.
Adam Lint,
Yes.
Lee Trahan,
Yes.
Jeff West,
Yes.
Mike Joseph.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
And Fran Hudson.
Yes.
Motion to waive second reading passes 7-0.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, resolution number 24-2024, a pole permit location for the Central Maine Power Company and Consolidated Communications of the Northern New England Company LLC, work order number 801-000-63405.
So moved.
095.
Sorry, was that right?
095.
095.
09.
095, thank you. Was there a second?
Second.
Discussion? I know where it is, but Ella, could you just state where it is, just so we could, just in case somebody.
So the starting point is the Wyman Bog Road, and it's westwardly a distance of 485 feet for one pole. So that's where it's going to be.
Okay.
Any discussion? Being none?
Lee Trahan,
Yes.
Jeff West,
Yes.
Mike Joseph,
Yes.
Dale Macklin,
Yes.
Fran Hudson,
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
And Adam Lint.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Resolution number 25-2024, application for an on-premise liquor license by the Asian Cafe, Inc., 53 Bay Street, Winslow, Maine, 04901, and this is a public hearing as well.
Okay, with that being said, does anybody from the public have anything they would wish to add to this? That's what I figured. With that being said, we will close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 25-2024. 2024.
Second?
Discussion. I'm going to ask my normal question. I'm assuming we don't have any issues down there.
Correct. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
So
Go ahead.
resolution for an application for an on-premise liquor license by the Asian Cafe, Inc., 53 Bay Street, Winslow, Maine, 04901. Jeff West.
Yes.
Mike Joseph.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes?
Fran Hudson.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Adam Lint.
Yes.
Ann Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Motion to pass, passes 7-0. On to discussion this evening. Our beloved assessor would like to retire.
I'm getting the evil eye.
How do you want to handle this? Would you
Well-
to take the conversation first, or?
I think what's really important is to realize that we're doing a proactive approach to this. I'm not giving 2 weeks and leaving. I'm not walking out the door. I have a firm belief in this town of Winslow, and I've done everything I can possibly do, I feel, in setting up a process that works, trying to be, again, transparent, open door policy. I've had so many people come in and ask such amazing questions, Mike included, some of the counselors, really good informed questions. And I appreciate that, and I'm hoping that I'm on that same level with all of you folks when it comes to that discussion. I'm a taxpayer too, and I know it's tough, I really do. But I want you to realize that whatever I've done has been to the best of my ability, and it's been fair and equitable to as much of a degree as I can make it. There's roughly 4,300 parcels, plus about 350 commercial property accounts. And I try to make sure that they all check and balance at the end of the day. People came in during the revaluation, they came in after the revaluation, and we did issue abatements. There were things that I felt I was not comfortable with, so I did make those. One of the other things, I'm not going to float my boat a little bit or ruffle my feathers, but a couple of things that are very important to realize is that we had 2 major appeals this year. One was the Lowman Animal Hospital, not Lowman Animal Facility, and the other one was a mobile home park worth millions of dollars. And that would have cost you a lot of money for litigation, negotiation, and the middleman mitigation. So we had some very healthy conversations. I agreed to reduce a little bit of their value this year, and in response, they pulled their appeals out. So that was a really good discussion that I had with them, and I felt comfortable with it. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have done it. So, being proactive, I would like to turn 65 at the end of April of 2025, and put in my deadline for retirement at May 1st. But in doing that, I don't want to leave the town in the lurch. I don't want to leave my office. I want to make sure everything is set and ready to go. We have a very bright young individual that's been working for me for about a year now, and she's got a keen interest in taking over. I would like to propose, along with Ella's help and her blessing, in trying to transition her over the winter to follow the system I have in place. She's got the character, she's got the bedside manner, she's got the ambition, and she is smart. And she gets it. She really gets the knack of the government and the way the municipality is run. She's taken on more than I would ever have expected of a 25-year-old. And she's got that goal and that drive. So we're hoping that in coming to you at this point, that we're setting up a plan to go forward. Now, you could say, let's not do that. Let's hire somebody next spring when Judy leaves. It's going to cost you a lot of money. and you're not really sure on who you're gonna get, because once people are settled as an assessor and they're feeling really good like I have, they're not gonna move, they're not gonna leave, they're gonna get to know their people. So we're hoping that in this transition, with your blessing, that we can hire somebody possibly to fill Vanessa's position, maybe even part-time over the winter, while I have Vanessa one-on-one in the back office and we start going through every single detail, because there's so much to it. I think in the long run, it's actually gonna cost less to do it this way, I believe, and I'm more than willing to answer any questions after May 1st if the need arises in helping her. So that's kind of why we're here tonight, is just to sort of make a discussion out of it, put some food for thought out for you guys to think about. There are a couple of different scenarios that you can go with, but I feel confident that Vanessa would really do a great job with my assistance, maybe even over the next year, just, you know, to be able to walk her through the whole year, the whole process. It's like a mom and pop shop. You know, you've got to be there for the full year to get a grasp of how things circulate. So it is a very complicated job, and it's an attention to detail. So anyway, that's sort of my plan and my goals going forward. Hopefully I'll be leaving the town with some really good paperwork and documents and the feeling of being listened to. So,
Thank you.
bittersweet.
So, thank you, Judy. I sent out a document to the council members that kind of laid out what our thoughts were on how to move forward. The goal was not to hire somebody originally, but the problem is, between the code enforcement department and the assessors department, Vanessa is excessively busy. We can't do it with her not being hooked to Judy's hip. I'm not recommending taking any money out of fund equity. I think that with the difference in pay, which will be a savings of about $26,000 a year, with the difference with a seasoned assessor and somebody coming in new, and we'll pay for this over a couple of years, the new position. I would like to think that we would hire somebody part-time to full-time to try to cover this gap, and then possibly move this person into a full-time permanent position when Judy makes the move and we move Vanessa permanently into the assessors department. As Judy's mentioned, if we hire somebody from outside the town, we're finding somebody who's wanting to leave their environment. We don't know what their work personality is, and we don't know what their work ethic is. Vanessa brings everything to the table, including the intellectual capacity to do this job. We have full faith in what this young lady will do. She will probably be the youngest assessor in the state of Maine on top of that. Bringing new blood into a business that's very difficult to find somebody to do is huge. So starting somebody out at $21.50 an hour, 30 hours a week to get us through, we'll let that budget tip upside down and see where it goes as a whole on the municipal side at the end of the year. And if we find that we can't make it, we'll have to have a discussion then about moving money over. Like I said, it'll pay for itself over a couple of years, and we'll have somebody who's capable, I believe, to do the job.
So we would have to fill Vanessa's job. Vanessa would go to training.
She would be.
She would go to
sitting at
training.
my
We would
desk
hire
with me
somebody to
next
take
door.
Vanessa's spot on a part-time basis. And that would work as far as the workload goes.
I think that given the fact that Garrett and the code department is gonna be coming into a slower part of the season through the winter months, I think that that'll work for us.
That's perfect.
You know,
And
Vanessa and I and Judy have sat down and we've kind of beat this up. We've been talking about it for a bit.
So Vanessa has to train the new employee and then move over to your position before May, and train before May 1st, so.
And when are you guys planning on doing the transition or the hiring or?
Personally, if I'm very proactive, and I have to like have a process in my head, it's just the way I am. Ideally, if I can have Vanessa in my office come November, December, January 1st, then I can just go right for it if she is completely right next to me. We can go through the motions of what we do in a whole year and go through, and at the same time, quite honestly, I would like to also create a manual specific to the town of Winslow that shows exactly the processes that I've done. And of course, it'll be tweaked by a younger person, I'm sure, with the IT knowledge. But there's a certain way to do certain things for the town of Winslow specific, like the tax increment finance districts. Those are very specific. There's 4 of them. And we get some of that money back, so it's gotta be done right. Tax rates, reimbursements, current use properties, keeping track of who's in it, making sure that they're in compliance. There's a lot to it. But I think the wintertime will be the best time to go over the assessor's year calendar and start creating that manual and the training that's needed.
I have a question for you, Judy. In January, you said it takes about a year before you could get her to get into the motion of it. Would you be willing to work part-time and helping her out after that?
Absolutely. I would rather they feel comfortable in at least calling me. Even if it's for an hour a day or a quick phone call, I would really love that. I really would.
So
It would be
January-
ideal, honestly,
So January would probably be a good time to do that?
to
And you'd be
really
willing
get
to
her
do
in that office at least, at the very latest.
The sooner we can get her in there, the
Yeah.
better off we're gonna be.
Yeah.
My concern was hiring another person, of course, the spending of the money. I also thought that if you were going to have 2 people pretty much doing the same job and paying somebody else to do another job, that seemed a little bit too much. But if you're not going to start it till at least January, then that makes sense. I wouldn't suggest doing it before.
I think it's a good mark, a good goal date. The sooner the better, but I get that. You know?
Because in a sense, we'd be paying for Vanessa as well as a new hire for the same position, so that's kind of.
Yeah, we're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place on this. Judy's salary is approximately $96,000 a year. This is what a skilled assessor
I'm sorry.
is making. You know, we're gonna bring Vanessa in at $70,000 a year, which is a pay bump for her. And so you figure that's a $26,000 a year savings, and that's gonna help pay for this whole part-time process to get us up there. So the payback is going to be in a year or 2, but the payback's going to be there.
Oh, it sounds great, as long as you're starting in January. I wouldn't want to
Yes.
start it now, because that's.
It's busy right now. It is. And once the tax bills go out in a couple of weeks, I'm sure I'll see more of you. No. I appreciate, though, that you allow us to have that discussion. I really do. It means a lot.
Through the chair, if I may, you know, in the past, it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen sometime, is that next thing, you know, we hire a part-time person for Vanessa's position, and then it's hard on a part-time basis with no benefits to get a qualified person
We
in
talked
there,
about that.
in there. And then we have always, in the past, got burnt bad in the town of Winslow by trying to do that. And I'm not saying in this case this is what we should do, but if we hired somebody to replace Vanessa, and I know the money is not there at a particular time, but then you get an application pool that's more significant to be able to replace, because the chances of Vanessa, when she moves to your position, the part-time person moves in that position. She's either not qualified to take Vanessa's position, or we have to go through the hiring process for Vanessa's position. That means for a period of time, there'll be 2 people left in the assessor and the
And
code
that's what's
enforcement
happened to me for the
officer.
past 10 years.
Right, exactly.
There's been such a turnover that it's hard to get
Yeah.
settled in, and with Garrett and Vanessa and myself, working in that office has been amazing. It's
And then if
really
you lose
amazing.
Garrett, because if before Garrett, we had Vanessa, and that was
Right.
really helpful when we lose a code enforcement officer, to have Vanessa there to handle some of the
And
issues.
she did it.
A qualified individual.
Yeah.
A part-time person is
Yeah.
not going to
It's a great job opportunity if anybody's
Adequate,
interested.
that's just my concern.
Seriously.
So the secret to that,
Council,
the secret to resolving that is you hire the right person.
part-time with no benefits.
Yep.
Yep, okay.
With the opportunity
To
to
go into full.
Right,
go into full-time.
that's
Okay,
right.
well, we'll see, I'm just telling you, in the past,
I get it. We did talk about that.
did not work. I can't remember a time when it worked, but in this particular case, that might be a necessary evil that we'll have to take a chance on.
Judy,
Yes.
we all know you're well connected within the tax assessors organizations.
Yes.
And all that, statewide, everything.
Yes.
The situation comes up down the road, Vanessa being young, you're out in Hawaii somewhere on vacation.
Did you hear that, Brett?
And Vanessa has an issue come up that she's not concerned, that she doesn't know about. How well connected is that tax assessors organization? And
Oh,
how well,
my
how are they
word.
willing to help other tax assessors out in
I am Miss
situations like that?
Mentor of the world. I created a program called Just Ask the Assessor, and it's got a wealth of seasoned assessors that have specific topics that they're good at. And you can call any one of them. You can shadow them. You can just walk in and ask them a question. You can call them, email them on any of those questions that we have on a brochure. That's how I got started, was having my own mentors help me out, and I'm paying it forward. So I do a lot of teaching, education, and to have such a young person have an interest in municipal government at the age of 25, and to literally grab it, just really grab the knowledge and go with it, is amazing. So it's really a blessing for me to be able to mentor her. And
So
she
that-
would get that from anybody.
So Vanessa would have not only you,
Yep.
but that
Oh,
whole
she would,
organization of other tax
definitely.
assessors in the
And she's
state that
already
are around.
started the network process by going to a few trainings and sitting for the exam, so. Yeah, it's a really good organization, honestly. It is.
So are there certificates in education that she's going to have to
There is,
have?
and she has sat for an exam and we're waiting for the results. So,
If she passes that exam, she will officially be a certified
Yep.
assessor. So she's
And that's all
here.
you need, right?
And-
That's
and
right.
these exams usually take 3 times to take these tests.
so
And this is her
difficult.
second time, and so she'll pass it, they all do, but it's a brutal test.
Anything else? I don't see a problem with it.
Oh, just one thing, just to tell you Judy's competency. We go in and we talk history once in a while.
oh, love it.
Yep, and so
Love it.
I was in there and she asked me, hey, what'd you do this weekend? And I said, well, I was over my daughter's house on 18 Corbett Lane. I was changing carpets into hardwood flooring. I installed hardwood in these rooms, right? Before I could even sing, she had 18 Corbett on the lane and increased my daughter's tax payment. And I said, what are you doing? I said, oh my God.
It's actually true.
Good job, yeah. That was good, tricky. you know, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Judy.
You all set?
Thank you, Judy.
So, I'd like to ask the council to vote to approve us moving forward on this so that we have some direction.
How do we do that, Bill?
Not
Is it
gonna-
just a straw poll at that
basically,
point?
just a showing of support, because it's not something on the agenda.
Right.
Just show us that you're okay with this so we can move forward.
I'm fine with it.
Let's just do a roll call,
Yeah.
just
Okay.
as easy.
We'll go Mike?
Yes.
Dale Macklin?
Yes.
Lee Trahan?
Yes.
Ray Karen?
Yes, yes.
Jeff West?
Yes.
Fran Hudson?
I'm going to say yes, as long as it's not starting until January with the extra bodies. I'm good for it.
And Adam? Wood?
Yes.
So that passes 7-0 with France wanting a start date of January. Okay, on to public comment. I have my lovely statement to read. Hopefully I don't mess it up too much. Any persons wishing to verbally address the council on any matter before it may do so, providing permission is first obtained by the council chair. Each person addressing the council. Anybody else? Shall stand and give the person's name and address in an audible tone of voice for the record, and shall limit remarks to the time allotted.
Hold on a minute, please. Can we have it quiet, please? Thank you.
Remarks to the time allotted by the council chair. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any member thereof. No person other than the council and the person having the floor shall be permitted to enter into any discussion, either directly or through a counselor without the permission of the council chair. No question shall be asked a counselor except through the council chair. Any person making personal, impertinent, and slanderous remarks, or who shall become boisterous while addressing the council shall be forthwith by the council chair barred from further audience before the council, unless permission to continue be granted by the majority vote of the council. Side conversations within the audience will not be tolerated. I do have 3 emails that I received from the Town of Winslow email. I have forwarded those on to the council. They are from Greg Roby of Highland Mills, New York. Each of them had a link to a video that I obviously can't play here, so I just wanted to make reference to that for the public comment.
Okay, is there anybody that would like to speak on anything not on the agenda this evening?
My name is Bill Sadowski. Is it okay to talk?
Yes,
Can I
sir.
get your address, please?
163 Quimby Lane.
Thank you.
In April, I had a problem with my property on Clinton Avenue. I waited over 2 hours for a police officer to show up. And when he showed up, he evaluated the situation, and I asked him for a police report. And he said, "I'll get one right out to you. I'm still waiting."
Okay.
Next, I had the code enforcement officer in May come out to the house to look at some problems. And he said he'd get back to me. I'm still waiting. You, Mr. West, or the council, I talked to you 2 months ago about a situation, and you said you'd get back to me. You haven't got back to me yet.
I asked you for your number as well, sir.
What's that?
I asked you for your phone number as well.
No, you didn't.
Okay, I didn't then.
I will give it to you, though, if you want it.
That would be great.
Okay. After the meeting, I'll give it to you.
Please do.
And I just like to know what's going on. You know, I figure I'm a taxpayer in this town, and I would like to have some representation. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Kyla Holovitz, and I live on Corbett Lane. I'll open with a pertinent quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. Where, after all, do universal human rights begin? In small places close to home, so close and so small that they cannot be seen on any maps of the world. Yet they are the world of the individual person, the neighborhood they live in, the school or college they attend, the factory, farm, or office where they work. Such are the places where every person and child seeks equal justice, equal opportunity, equal dignity without discrimination. Unless these rights have meaning there, they have little meaning anywhere. Without concerned citizen action to uphold them close to home, we shall look in vain for progress in the larger world. What's been happening in Winslow over the last 8 months has been horrible and embarrassing. We have elected representatives and a few others who are doing their best to silence, intimidate, harass, and discriminate against people in our community. Our town manager is a dedicated and effective public servant. Other officials, public servants, and citizens this small group has been targeting do not deserve this hate or stress. We should be celebrating dedicated citizens and public servants who face discrimination and hardship in this world, not purposefully causing them more harm. I'm so proud of Winslow in many ways, but that pride is tarnished by the nefarious and embarrassing actions of a few. These actions do have consequences. People don't want to work or live in a community in which chaos reigns. This chaos affects home sales, new developments, businesses, our schools, and everyone in our community, including our children. The town faces legal liability if and when anti-discrimination laws are broken. Leaving us, the taxpayers, open to such liability is not fiscally responsible. We are already seeing these fiscal consequences in higher legal fees. In closing, I'd like to say thank you to the elected officials, public servants, and citizens who are dedicated to Winslow and all the people who make their homes here. We must continue to stand up for our community together.
Thank you. Hey, Earl, you want to try again?
Yes. Earl Watts, live at the corner of Lucille and Helen. Not yet.
Sorry.
Through the chair, because I know this has to go through the chair, I'd like to say, good to see you, Lee. It's good to see you back. And then through the chair, I'd like to ask each counselor to go on the record and tell me what objective, measurable criteria you're going to use when you look at the applications for the charter committee.
This isn't a back and forth, Earl.
No, I'm just asking each person to say what measurable, objective criteria they're going to use.
No, I understand that, but we're not supposed to be going.
Oh,
Mr. Chairman, if I could just suggest, Earl, if you have questions, ask, send emails to the councilors and ask for a response on what each individual council will base their decisions on.
okay.
Yeah, I would be glad to answer that, Earl, but like, it isn't a back and forth. So if you want to email us, I'll be more than happy to email you my thoughts on that subject.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Earl. Anyone else? Chad has something.
All right, Chad Smith, not a resident of Winslow, resident of Oakland. And I am the station director for Crossroads TV. And I just wanted to get up real quick and let people know that Crossroads TV in the town of Winslow, apparently a couple meetings ago, there was an issue with the closed captioning on Facebook. Crossroads TV or the town of Winslow has nothing to do with the closed captioning that you see on Facebook, Vimeo, or YouTube. That is their system, has nothing to do with us at all. And it's very unreliable, even with me being right here at this microphone. When you folks are out in the audience making your comments, it's worse. It is a lot worse. So there was an incident. It was a terrible thing. And there's really nothing that we can do about it. I'm sure that in the future the system will get better. But until then, there's nothing we can do with it. And these companies, you know, they have to be ADA compliant just like everybody else. So, and that's just all I wanted to say. I've started putting a disclaimer before the video, but we do know that some people come in later on after the meeting has started and may not see that disclaimer at all. So just wanted to get that out, and I've got to do this 2 or 3 more times at different meetings to let people know. Just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, Chad.
And just, Chad, you know, I've been dealing with you for a long time, and I just want to say your professionalism and your competency and your caring for the town of Winslow and all the area. You provide a great service and to get the word out about what's going on in the town of Winslow and central Maine as a whole.
Thanks, Ray, I appreciate that.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Mackenzie Oben and I live on Rancourt Ave. I could begin my statement by talking about what a competent and experienced leader our town manager, Ella Bowman, is. I could talk about how morally wrong it is for certain members of our town council to make transparent attempts to target Ella because of her gender identity and attempt to set the stage for the termination of her employment through bogus claims of harassment that were thrown out by a judge. And those points are relevant, but they're not what I want to comment on tonight. I want to talk about liability and the extremely vulnerable position that certain town councilors are putting Winslow in. I think it's important to understand that gender identity is a protected class in Maine, and it's illegal to fire someone based on their gender identity. And let's make no mistake, that is what this is about. If the town council decided to move forward with terminating Ella's employment, they would be arbitrarily opening the town of Winslow up to lawsuits and complaints with the Maine Human Rights Commission. It's important to note that both of those scenarios would come at an incredible cost to the town of Winslow, which is something every Winslow taxpayer should be extremely concerned about. I also want to inform those town councilors who aren't aware that anyone found by the Maine Human Rights Commission to be engaging in employment discrimination against a member of a protected class can be held personally liable for that act. That's right, it would not just be the taxpayers holding the bag. You could be sued personally for such an act. Aside from lawsuits, substantiated discrimination complaints, and putting Winslow in an extremely precarious financial situation, attempting to terminate our town manager's employment will cause even more negative press and embarrassment to come to our town than has already happened since the November election. The last thing our town needs is more bad publicity. I implore members of our town council to act wisely and make the choice not to needlessly risk our town's reputation and financial future just because a couple of bad apples have a personal vendetta against our town manager. It's my sincere belief that the more senior members of the town council have the best interests of Winslow at heart, and I am confident that you will do the right thing to protect our town from other members who would like to expose Winslow to liability for the sake of their own personal agenda. The taxpayers are watching closely. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else?
Nah. I already moved to silence him, so please.
Thanks a lot. Dana Mitchell, Simpson Avenue, Winslow. I just want to say I've come to a lot of town meetings. You can ask Mr. West and Mr. Karen now, and Dale. And this meeting here has been really fun to sit at and listen to. You people are making decisions on your own, and you're not passing it on to the voters, and it's good to see this like this. And this lady here is doing an excellent job. Her staff came up here and told you how good she is. You guys have got to support her and move on. Whatever the bad things are out there, you got to put them behind you and let's move on. Winslow's a good town, and we got some good people up there, and you guys are making good decisions, and I'm proud of you. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana. Anyone else? Being no one, I will close the public comment section, and I would gladly entertain.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Show of hands.
It's the only one that,
7-0 at